What's up, Central Columbia? We're back for another fantastic school year, the 2021 school year.
Yes, sir.
And we are excited. That may be an understatement. This is the time when we do our typical student handbook video, the typical school day video. And, we could have pretty much done it like that this year since we already did it last year, except everything changed on us. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to kind of give you a glimpse as to what the typical day here at school is going to look like. Give you some tips, reminders, and some other information that's going to allow you to be successful this school year. Now remember, things are going to be different, right? It may not look the same as it did last year, but you still got the same great people who want to help you, okay, through this whole thing. We will get through this together, all right? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's start talking about what a typical day at Central Columbia is going to look like now under the COVID or in the COVID-19 era. All right, so like I said, we're going to take you through what a typical day is going to look like here at Central Columbia, starting with the arrival. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Snyder, and he's going to take us through this. What do you think?
Mr. Comstock, thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. Students, it's great to have you back. As you can see, we're out front of the school here, and we're talking about arrival each morning and how that's going to go in the front of the school. So, what we're going to do is this. Students who arrive at school with their parents in a car and are dropped off, or if you're a student from another school district who's riding in on a van or a bus, you're going to come up this lane right here. And as you pull up the lane, what is going to happen is this. When you get out of the bus or your parents' car, Mr. Morgan or myself is going to use one of these digital thermometers to take your temperature each morning when you arrive. So what we'll do is we'll pull up, we'll grab your temperature when you pop out of the car, and then once that has occurred, you're actually going to proceed here to the front entrance, and you're actually going to walk in the doors on the right side, right where the cones have this lane indicated. So you'll walk right in through the doors, you'll grab some hand sanitizer, get yourself sanitized up, and then proceed right through this doorway here.
Wow, that was some great information, Mr. Snyder. Why don't you tell me what happens if I drive to school?
Students, as you can see, we are still here in the front parking lot, and now we need to talk about a different group of students. That is those of you who are lucky enough to drive to school each day. So here we are in a completely empty student parking lot, but soon that won't be the case. So students, if you're a driver and you're driving into school safely, I might add, when you pull into school and park, you're going to walk up here to the flagpole and then walk right up here and cross the crosswalk. Now notice you have not had your temperature taken yet, but you will. Mr. Morgan or myself or another staff member will be standing right here at this door with one of the thermometers. And they're gonna zap you with the thermometer and take your temperature, make sure that's good. Once you've cleared that and your temperature's low enough, you'll walk in through the doors on the left-hand side this time. Other students were walking in the right. Student drivers will walk here to the left side. They will go ahead and take care of some germs, be gone, sanitize themselves, and then walk in the door on the left-hand side.
All right, so now that we know how we're gonna come into school if we get dropped off by our parent, or if we drive, or if we're an out-of-district kid coming to us on a district van or bus, right? Now we got to think about what the back looks like when you come in. So what I'm standing in right now is the drop-off lot for families that have middle school and high school students, okay? It's going to be a little bit different than it was last year. First off, this area over here to my left, okay, and if I can get a pan over that way, that would be good. Yeah, I appreciate that. Keep on going there. Yep. Good. Okay, bring it back here. So this area right here, we really don't want people to be parking in this, okay? Now, your parents are gonna come up here, see these cones? You're gonna drive up here, right? The lead dog is gonna be right here, okay? This is where you're gonna get dropped off. Other ones will kind of pile up behind. And then you will get out, go to one of these cones where somebody will be there to take your temperature, okay? If you are a high school student, right? We're gonna go this way. And since you've already been cleared with your temperature, you're just gonna, either side doesn't matter. Look, there's a grasshopper. And then you're just gonna come right in here, walk straight through, up this far left lane, okay? So that's what this is right here. This is we'll call it the easy pass lane, okay? Because you've already paid your toll out there. All right, so we're out here at the bus parking lot and it is starting to get hot outside, all right? But we're here to let you guys know what you're gonna do if you ride a bus. So things are gonna be a little bit different, but let us take you through what's gonna happen. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna probably let a few buses dismiss at a time, as opposed to the, the mass release that we're used to, okay? Now, that said, we're gonna play it by ear, make some adjustments after the first day, so on. But on a typical day, you'll get released from your bus, right? And Mr. Snyder's gonna act like he just got off the bus right here. Mr. Snyder just got off the bus, all right, and he's walking through. Oh, wait, his bus is gonna be in the left middle lane of these cones, and he's gonna stay in that lane. Now, I'm gonna try to keep up with him. He is running a half marathon soon, but he's gonna come in here, he's gonna do what he's supposed to do up front, stays in his lane, right? Washes the germs, continues on up the hallway, in the correct lane, mind you, where he will stop up front, right there, and myself, which is Mr. Comstock, and Mr. Duranko will be up here taking temperatures. So that's what you're gonna do when you get off the bus. So as you can see, and this is what it's gonna look like. Those two lanes right there are the bus lanes, okay? This lane on the side is the lane that students who get dropped off in the back come up, okay? Day 2 of making this movie, new clothes. As you can see, it's not the pink shirt anymore. I know Mr. Snyder was probably gonna make a crack at me there, but that's okay. Hey, so we now know how we're gonna arrive at school, right? Well, after you get your temperatures checked and such, right? Now I'm gonna have Mr. Snyder take us through what it's gonna look like if you're gonna eat breakfast here at school.
All right, guys, now that you're in the building, let's talk about what happens next. The vast majority of you will actually, once you've gotten into the building, you'll come inside and you'll report directly to your first period classroom, wherever that is in the building. And understand that's not your homeroom, but your first period classroom or area. That's where you go when you come in the building. The exception to that is those of you guys who plan to buy breakfast here at school. If you plan to buy breakfast at school, you'll proceed to the cafeteria, grab your food, pay for it, and you can actually remain seated in the cafeteria, eat your food. Once you finish with that, we want you to take your trash out, and then you as well will report to your first period classroom to begin the day.
All right, guys, so now that you're in your first period classroom, obviously you get a good glimpse of what one's gonna look like. First thing you do when you enter the classroom is take some of this, wash your hands, right? There'll also be there'll be a bucket of towels or sanitized wipes or something like that for you to be able to wipe off your desktop and things like that if you wish to. But then you're gonna be in class, right? So you're in class, first period, second period, third period, fourth period, and then it becomes time for lunch, right? But what happens when we transition to classes? Mr. Snyder, why don't you tell them?
Absolutely. So guys, we've actually added a little bit of time to the bell schedule each day to help us social distance between classes, so during class changes. So what's going to happen is this. All of your teachers are going to designate each class that you're in during the day. They're going to put you into two groups. They're going to have an A group and a B group. And there's going to be 4 minutes between classes. There used to only be 3. And what's going to happen is, at the bell, the A group will be released to go to their next class. For the first 2 minutes of that 4-minute time between the classes, the A group will be progressing from their class where they were to their next one. At 2 minutes into that transition, the B group will then be dismissed, and then they will progress to their next classroom. Again, this is not a perfect system, but we feel as though it's going to minimize the number of kids in the hallway at any one time and really help us to social distance more effectively.
Absolutely, and to listen, your teachers may call it A or B group. They may call it group 1, group 2, even odd. They may dismiss one group one day and the next group the other day first. Just listen to your teachers, do what you're supposed to do. Everything's going to work out fine, okay? Here in a second, what we're going to do is we're going to show you the hallways and what they look like with some new traffic markings on them, right?
Sweet new traffic.
Sweet. All right, so like we said, when you get dismissed from class and you walk out the door, you're going to see some new stuff. So give me a second. We're going to kind of try to show you what we're talking about here, okay? I'm going to disappear for a second. Oh, look, I just got out of class. Gee, it's going to be simple to figure out what way I'm supposed to go, isn't it? Man, look how sweet that is right there. And now this is how you're supposed to walk down the hall. It goes a little something like this, just like you're driving a car. Okay, so maybe you're going to be walking down a hallway where there's a set of steps. Well, you know what to do? Stay in your lane. So let us properly demonstrate how we're supposed to walk up the steps. Stay in your lane.
I'll tell you what, I sure am getting hungry. I don't know about you guys. And when I get hungry, I start to think about a wonderful cafeteria. If you're a student who typically buys lunch at school, you are going to be eating in the cafeteria each day. All right, so let's go get something to eat. Okay, so guys, we're headed into the cafeteria. A very important point here. When you're coming from 3 or 4 periods of class, maybe you haven't gone to the restroom, that is critical that before you eat, you sanitize your hands. So we're gonna have a sanitizer station at the entrance of both sides of the cafeteria where you can very easily put on hand sanitizer and make sure that your hands are good and clean for you to eat your lunch. Okay, so when we
it smells so good.
When we enter the cafeteria from this side to get our tasty lunch, we're going to come in and we're going to proceed through the doors on the left side of the serving area. Okay? We've created a lane here that will allow for distancing and a line to form while our students still being able to be safe and eating lunch here at the table. So, this is a little different than last year, guys. In the past, we've gone into the serving area and we've sort of lingered and made choices, and frankly, a lot of people were in there. We had to address that given the current situation. So what we've decided is this. Each day, students are going to only have one choice of the food to eat in the cafeteria. So now we're about to get our lunch. Lunches this year will be individually wrapped, and you're just gonna actually grab and go with that lunch. So you're going to come in here to the serving area, come right up, and this year you're going to pay first. So you're either going to punch in your number or give the cashier your money, and then you'll proceed back here to the serving line. So just grab your bag, your lunch, and you'll exit through the side of the serving area.
Or tray or whatever it is.
And this is a little different than last year, but that's why we're showing you how to do this. So we're going to proceed through this direction, out into the tech wing hallway, and then back into the cafeteria. So we'll come right up here and then we'll swing left and go right into the cafeteria. And once in here, very importantly, we have designated where we want you guys to sit. And what you'll see is on the seats where it's appropriate to sit, where there's distancing can be ensured, you'll see a Blue Jay head. So you can just simply proceed to one of those seats that has a Blue Jay head, have a seat, and sit down and eat your tasty lunch. All right, guys. Woo! Just finished up from a hefty workout in the gym. I sure am hungry yet again. Now, when we are progressing to the cafeteria from the gym or the science wing side of the building, Blue Jay Pratt, what we're going to do is we're going to enter through this door. And again, equally as important as coming in from that side, we want to do a quick hand sanitizer. Okay, grab a little, wipe our hands, get them cleaned off a little bit so we're ready to go to get our lunch. So, what we're going to do once in here is this. There's a lane that we want you guys to follow to eat lunch from coming from this side of the building, and here it is. Okay, we're going to proceed right here to this open area, and then we're going to proceed right through these doors. And again, just like on the other side that we talked about earlier, you're actually going to pay for your food first and then pick it up after you've paid. So right here, we're going to end up either punching in our code or paying, and then we're going back here to grab our food, whatever form that takes. And I've been reassured that hot ham and cheese bagel pierogies will be one of the choices this year. Don't fret. Grab your lunch. And again, when we come out here into the open air, we can see seats where there's a Blue Jay head, or on the tables here where there are just simply one chair, we don't have the seats marked. You can just simply sit in the chairs that are available and enjoy your lunch. All right, guys. Now we're still talking about this concept of lunch. And the last two segments of our film have been about the students who actually were buying lunch in the cafeteria and eating there. Now there's a whole other group of kids, and we know this, you guys prefer to bring your lunch from home. Not a problem at all, but what we decided to do in order to create some more space during the lunch times of the day is we are going to have you guys eating your lunch here in the auxiliary gym, better known as the turf room, okay? So, just like in the cafeteria, we have hand sanitizer placed here. We'll have that right here handily ready for you. Go ahead and sanitize those hands. Then, you're going to walk in here to the turf room, and here at these brown computer desks, we have seats arranged, distance, where you can sit down and have your lunch. We are not going to tell you that you have to sit any one place every single day or anything like that. You're just simply going to go to a seat, sit down, and have your lunch. And you're welcome to sit with your buddies and friends and socialize as you've always done in the past. So, you guys who pack your lunch, you'll be eating lunch each day here in the turf room. Obviously, we'll have trash cans for you guys to throw away your stuff at the end of your assigned lunch. Oh, guys, I almost forgot to tell you this. During the lunch periods, there's not going to be a back and forth between the turf room and the cafeteria. You're either going to have to remain in the turf room or remain in the cafeteria.
One thing we did forget to cover right here is the bathroom during lunch. Look, this is not 2019, 2020 school year, right? Where you could go 3 at a time as friends to the bathroom, okay? Unfortunately, we are gonna have to limit that to one person at a time, and with a pass, of course. So, thank you for your cooperation in helping us with that.
All right, everybody, we've come to the end of the day, okay? And the end of the day this year is going to look a little differently than it has in the past. We've built in a little bit more time for dismissal. And so what we're doing this year for dismissal is this. At 2:40, the following groups of students will be dismissed. Students who are riding home with their mom or their dad getting picked up, students who drive home, and students who are Chapter 339 students who are going to a van or a bus to go home to their home school district. Those 3 groups of students will be dismissed at 2:40. Then at 2:45, the rest of the student body will be dismissed to go to the buses or wherever it is that they're going at the end of the day.
All right, and now, your favorite part of this thing. It is the 2021 Student Handbook Test. All right, this is the part where myself and Mr. Snyder, we kind of go over all the little things that can become big things and the things that we think you need to know in order to have a successful year. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's just start this thing, right?
Let's do it.
All right, so number one, we just went over this. Students should report to their
First period
class after successfully having their temperature checked. Very good. So again, you saw us do the temperature checks as you arrive to school. That's what you're expected to do, right? And if you are eating breakfast, remember, you go to the cafeteria, get your breakfast, sit down, eat it, then go to your first period class, okay? All right, students who are late to school for any reason, including coming from a college class or internship/co-op class, should sign in and have their temperatures taken in the
front
office. That's right, in the front office. Just like every year when you're late, whatever, you sign in, front office, same thing, okay? All right, let's see, number 3. Students arriving on campus may not can't leave campus unless you are properly signed out in the front office. Once you arrive to campus, guys, you cannot leave, okay? So please remember that. Driving to school is a privilege. So is athletics.
Yes, it is.
Upon a student's first driving violation, the student will lose his or her driving privileges for
10.
Oh man, that's steep. 10 school days.
That is steep.
Okay. Face masks or face coverings, right? That cover the nose and mouth are
Required.
Very good. Very good. Students are only allowed to
Remove
their face covering during teacher scheduled mask breaks or while eating and drinking. All right. Number 6. Students are only allowed to I just said that. Okay, let's go to number 7.
Remove.
Yes. Clothing that exposes the midriff
May not.
may not be worn, right?
Yes, sir.
Number 8. Cell phones confiscated from the classroom will be sent to the front office. The first time your cell phone is taken, the student, you, will be allowed to pick it up in the front office. The second time the cell phone is taken, and every time after,
your parent
or your guardian, right, are required to pick up the confiscated cell phone. All right, we had to do that a bunch of times last year. Let's not let it happen. Come on, guys. All right, number 9. Refusal to surrender a cell phone to school officials while in the classroom will result in one day of ISS, okay? 1 day in the box, as
Yes.
Chief Merton will call it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that was number 9. Mr. Snyder, why don't you read number 10? Go to about 20 for me.
That sounds good, Mr. Comstock. Here we go.
Okay, well, I guess I start.
You sort of do.
Students
Are solely responsible for any personal cell phones or devices that they bring to school. Administration at Central Columbia High School
will not
No, sir. Search for lost or stolen cell phones or devices. So, guys, you need to keep track of your own cell phone, your own device. It's very difficult for us to devote a lot of time to helping you, in fact, if you've lost it. Number 11. In the event that a student has a phone or device that is lost or stolen, it will be the responsibility of the
student
to file an incident report with
Chief Merton.
Naturally. The chief will help us out with those sorts of things, and make sure you keep that in mind if you find yourself in that sort of a situation. Number 12. Distribution of indecent materials is a disciplinary offense. These materials include, but are not limited to, photographs, videos,
Text messages,
or other methods which transmit sexually suggestive material to others within the school environment.
Yeah, so I would add Snapchat to that,
Yes.
or whatever else y'all use. Just don't do it. And you were going to say something, follow it up, I think.
I believe I was, and that was, we ended up dealing with a decent amount of this sort of thing last year. I'm really hopeful that we don't see a lot of this sort of thing this year. And I'd be very disappointed if we have repeat offenders who we spent a lot of time with talking about and hopefully learning about this last school year.
And guys, listen, this stuff can ruin your life, all right? And it can
inconvenience you, your parents, court dates, fines, all that other stuff, okay? You don't need that.
Yes. Number 13, the possession and use of alcohol or illicit drugs is prohibited on school grounds or at any school-sponsored activity. It's pretty straightforward, Mr. Comstock.
Yeah, it is.
Number 14, unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other inappropriate oral, written, or physical conduct of a sexual nature when made by a student or staff member to another student or staff member constitutes sexual
harassment.
Number 15, no student may possess, use, or distribute any object, device, or instrument having the appearance of a
gun,
including but not limited to look-alike guns, water guns, toy guns, non-functioning replicas of guns, pellet guns, and objects that have the appearance of a real weapon.
What's that word? That's it. Is it facsimile?
Facsimile. Yes, it is. Yeah. It's a nice noun, Mr. Comstock.
Thank you. I'm a math teacher.
There we go. Number 16 is a true or false question. True or false? The same rules that apply at school also apply on the bus.
That's true. Listen, I feel like I should be saying, like, I'll take, true and false for $500, Alex.
It is somewhat like a game show.
Okay.
Back to the test. Number 17, all medication must be properly labeled and in its original container and brought to the
nurse's
office upon the student's arrival at school. Make sure you remember that, guys, because inevitably, somebody comes down with something, you need to have some medicine. Remember, you got to take that to the nurse's office. 18, students that interfere in class
3 times
will be removed from the classroom.
Hey, can we review that for a second?
Yes, we can.
Because I think that's very important. Amongst all this COVID stuff and all these new routines and procedures, I think we have to take a second to review student expectations in the classroom. Look, you're going to go into the classroom, you're going to wash your hands, you're going to sit down. Your teacher's going to have a seating chart for you. On the first day, you will not move seats, the contact tracing, all that other stuff, right? So you're going to have a seating chart.
Yes.
All right? Please don't argue, please don't fight about it. It's the way it is, right? Now, look, we talk about things that are called interferences, okay, as the main thing that we deal with probably 95% of the time in our office, meaning disruptive behavior, disrupting class, interfering other people from learning, okay? That's what we mean when we say interference. Look, teacher's gonna warn you, okay, the first time that you're being disruptive in class, okay? The second time that a teacher has to warn you in a given class period, then what happens?
Then the teacher has to call home to the parent.
Yep.
And there's a detention with that teacher at a time that's convenient for them.
Yep. And then, of course, the third time, like we said, you get removed from class. So I'm hoping that we don't have to deal with that too much this year, okay? All right. And if you got any questions, ask your teachers or ask one of us.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's continue.
All right. That sounds like a great idea. Mr. Comstock, number 19. Tardy students who arrive after the 7:45 bell must report to the front office for a
tardy
pass. Naturally. Okay? Hey, listen. Let's get here on time. They're about 95% of you guys get here on time every day. There's 5% that this becomes a real issue for them. Come on, man. Okay, number 20. Central Columbia High School does not allow students to use or possess tobacco products or tobacco paraphernalia, including
electronic,
cigarettes,
jewels, vape machines.
Yes, you can have it.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll take over here.
You go ahead.
All right, let's see. Next, 21. Oh, I love this one. Per Central Columbia School District Board Policy 222 and the Central Columbia High School Student Handbook Section 76, any Central Columbia student found to be using or possessing a vaping device, I call them vape machines, okay, on school property including school buses, bus stops, or during school activities, will be issued a citation by the Central Columbia School Police upon their second offense. Hey, just know that. All right, number 22. A student's third tardy to school will result in one day of work detail / detention. So guys, remember how we started doing work detail, lunch cleanup, whatever it was last year? Oh yeah, we're still doing something. I don't know if it's going to be specifically that, but it's going to be something, okay? So just know that and make sure you are on time. All right, in order to obtain your student parking pass, you need to go see
Chief Merton.
Chief Merton, very good. All right, 24. Students should use the restroom
closest
to their classroom. Mr. Snyder, why don't you explain that to us?
I know
It's complicated,
but it's simple at the same time.
It is, yes.
So we have a number of restrooms located throughout the building. Whatever one of those is closest to the classroom where you are coming from is where you should go. And in fact, if we learn that you're going to one that's further away on purpose just to, jaunt around the building, then we're going to have a problem. So please stay close to the one that's closest to the room that you are leaving.
Yep, very good. And listen, guys, teachers will be instructed to not let more than one person leave the classroom at a time. So just know that. All right. Let's see. What's the next one?
Number
Here?
25?
25? Yes, 25. Students should follow CDC hand washing guidelines throughout the day. Hand sanitizer will be available in each classroom and in common spaces such as the cafeteria, the turf room, auditorium, library, so on. Okay?
Mr. Comstock, if I may on that one.
You may.
Guys, this is really important. It is important. Our hand hygiene is really important. We've got a large number of us coming together, interacting, being in places, during the school day, and that's absolutely what we want. Mm-hmm. That said, if we are not careful with hand hygiene and these other measures, we could find ourselves not here. So let's all work hard together on this and the other CDC recommendations so we can stay here, because that's absolutely what we all know is best for us.
That's right. Hey, wash your hands. Don't pick your face. Plain and simple. All right. Let's see. Students who buy their lunch or purchase their lunch, eat in the cafeteria. Students who pack or bring their lunch to school should report to the turf room when it's time to go eat. Another thing to remember, seniors, hey, it's nice outside, whatnot. You guys are more than welcome to eat your lunch out in the courtyard here in front of us, okay? So that's another area where we can practice social distancing as well.
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Comstock,
Yeah.
this next one's my favorite one.
Me too. Me too, it is. It is, because students should stay in their
lane.
Stay in their lane, stay in your lane, stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
While walking through the hallways and stairways. Guys, listen. Why do we say that? Because we're trying to limit the traffic in the hallways. We're trying to, number one, teach a lot of you how to drive a car by, number one, staying on the right-hand side of the road, okay? So just please follow those arrows. You don't necessarily have to stand on an arrow,
no.
Right? Just walk down the hallways in the direction that the arrows are going, okay?
Yes.
And again, take the fastest route to your class.
Yep.
That's pretty easy, all right? All students should practice
social or physical distancing.
Or social and physical distancing?
And physical
Is
distancing.
it one or the other?
I think
or
it's
is
the
it
same
both?
thing.
It probably is. Yeah, that. All right? But yes, all students should practice social / physical distancing to the greatest extent possible throughout the school day, right? Again, we've been hearing that since March 13th.
Yep.
Social distancing, social distancing, social distancing.
And I will tell you guys, I may be as much, if not more, concerned about that than anything. Here's why. I know you guys all want to be in the company of your friends. You want to hang out. You want to be together. We want you to do that too.
Yeah.
But we want you to do it safely. We cannot have you guys, girls, up against really close to one another, in one another's space, breathing in one another's air. That becomes problematic the longer that you're in that close environment like that. So by all means, interact with your friends, have fun, laugh, talk, but do it from a safe distance apart. And I think we'll all be better off for it.
Absolutely. Good advice. All right. Students who are car riders, drivers, and out-of-district students will be dismissed at
2:40.
2:40. That's right. And guys, again, that is in an effort to make sure we try to keep as much space between kids in the hallway as possible.
Yes.
Right? From the time we arrive to the time we leave.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, we're to the end already. That was pretty quick.
Blazing.
So, bus riders and students who are not car riders, drivers, or out-of-district students will be dismissed at
2:45.
which is the normal time that school is over, right?
End of the day.
And at that point, you guys just right out the back door, get on your bus, take it to the house. All right.
See ya.
Yep, because we don't want anybody hanging out outside, like we said before, okay, things like that. So, that is the 2020-2021 Student Handbook Test. Look, I mean, it's going to be a great year, all right? So, I tell you what, we're going to go ahead and close this out here in a second. I'm pretty sure you guys just made 100 right there on this test. So, I'm sure your teachers will be collecting those and keeping them on file in case there's any questions, or if you forget one of these things or something like that. And we'll be back in a second.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, we're back, okay? One last time, just wanted to kind of wrap this thing up for you and say this. Look, we are so excited that you're back. We've spent from March until now, okay, with ghosts walking the hallway. It's gonna be it's gonna be new and exciting for us. Yes, we may have these on. Yes, we may have to stay away from each other, air hugs, air high fives, whatnot. But at the same time, we are so happy to have you back. If you have any questions or concerns about anything you saw, please ask your teacher, ask one of us, find some adult in this building, and they will be glad to help you. Mr. Snyder, do you have any words of wisdom?
I sure do, and I echo your sentiment, Mr. Comstock. Thrilled to have you guys back. We have legitimately missed you, and can't wait to get back together in our building and really get after it again. We had a great start to the year last year, which unfortunately we couldn't finish in person. I'm super hopeful that we're going to be able to really, get a strong start here and keep right on going. And I want to tell you that Mr. Comstock and myself and many other people, we have worked so hard to create an atmosphere here that is conducive to us being here for a long term. So let's do everything we can, individually and as a student body, as a school, to stay here in person and do great things remotely and have another tremendous school year. Can't wait to get started.
Absolutely. I said this to your teachers. Central Columbia was a leader before COVID, and our students were leaders before COVID. Let's show everybody that Central Columbia is still a leader even through COVID.
Yes, sir.
Okay? This type of stuff doesn't keep us down. We just persevere and we have success. All right? And also, be looking for the first episode of the White and Blue Show coming at you sometime pretty soon.
You know what my favorite colors are, Mr. Comstock?
Are they black and gold?
I don't really like black and gold.
Oh man. Are they red and white?
Absolutely not red.
Well, what are they then?
My favorite colors are white and blue.
Uh-oh.
White and blue. White and blue.
All right, so listen, this is Mr. Stuff and Mr. Snyder. We are out. Have a great year.